Today we're going to be looking at your oracle for the week. Going to be looking at the energetic influences, frequencies, and the harmonics over the entire realm, the world that you live in, and particularly how it impacts the collective. We're looking at the present situation as solitude of fire, which suggests number 3, which is suggesting that we're looking at a particular frequency that could have been a foolish pursuit that seems to have taken a standstill. Something has come to an ending. Let's have a look and see what that is precisely. Looking at the allegory of fire, which suggests that a lot of activity seems to have slowed down. This may be in certain parts of the world where your seasons are busy changing from what it used to be. Perhaps the rain has come to an end, or there's a coldness that's coming to an end, and the frequency in terms of that is bringing the warmth into place here as well. Even though the fire is seemingly stepping back or standing still, there is a cooling down and also a heating up for some in the realm. Overall, we're seeing that there is a lot of focus on something that has come to an end, a fallout of earth, which suggests that there is an ending of certain ideas, certain issues with regards to an economical or diplomacy, something in the political aspect perhaps. Certain information has come to a standing still. That means whatever the information would have presented or been in terms of initiating perhaps a drive for certain outcomes has come to an ending now. There's a review on whether the information is even in itself useful in terms of create or uncreate. There's also an aspect here in terms of money that seems to be coming into a play as well. Overall, we're seeing that within the reality that there is an encounter of certain things that may basically create a point of restoration. For some, it may even be a point of looking for something that has been important for you. You may be seeking some information for some time now, and you've come to that point where you realize that you are essentially coming to that point of standing still. You rather just wait for it to come to you. This is also indicating for some of you to stand still, to take a break, to rest, to step back, so that you're able to observe what has been there perhaps as a solution all along for yourself. Overall, we're seeing that there is the Son of Air, which comes through here underneath the allegory of fire, which suggests that within this point of creation, there's a lot of having to think about things before you start something out. I can pick up that some people are actually also clearing up a relationship. And one card has fallen down, so we're seeing here the Mother of Fire underneath the Diplomat of Air, which is suggesting that in itself there is a reflection on wanting to come into a place of making peace. For some of you, there are some people that are actually now finally coming into that point where you're going to be getting the direction in which to investigate the information that you're looking for. I can pick up that there is also the energy of a person who is involved in legal or the law in itself. There is a refocus on certain legal matters that seem to be coming up. I'm also picking up for some of you that someone, or for some of you in the collective, there is an experience or a process in terms of a house or purchase of a property that needs to be understood properly before you can actually go ahead with that purchase. Overall, we're seeing that some other cards are falling out all the time, which is saying that there's the Midsummer Night of Fire underneath the create and uncreate, which is allegorically suggesting that if you want to start something up, you need to make sure that you build this little fire inside of you to be able to bring that information to fruition. The same with if you're going to be buying a property, the same thing applies, that you would need to take note of what it is that's actually sustainable. Is it even worth the purchase in the end? Will you be safe? Will you be seen? Will you be visible in a business? I'm seeing there's someone in that as well. Seems to be struggling to get your business off the ground. You're trying to bring that into action here. You're seeing that there's working forces coming to you in this matter, where you're going to be able to observe how things work and how it fits together overall. Overall, we're looking at the things in the past that may have had an impact over your life right now. We're seeing that there's the novice here, which means a lot of studying from things in the past, learning from past experiences, learning from what has once worked and what has not worked, and actually getting back to the drawing board. There's also, for some of you, in terms of looking for or wanting to place yourself in a position where you find yourself as a sovereign woman, which in tarot you would introduce as the Empress. So in this way, the Empress is, or the sovereign woman is presenting herself, and this could be for masculine or feminine. It really is just all about the energy is coming into the foreground in terms of how to recorrect certain things of what you used to focus on in the past and how it impacts you in the present, and what you will take with you to go towards the next point in your passage. For this week, we're seeing that there's definitely a lot of influences and events that are signifying that there may be certain forces that may come in. For some of you, you may even encounter new guides or new connections with your ancestor spirits or people in around your neighborhood that may actually come to you. I can see someone may be wanting to have a housewarming party, which seems to come up as well. There's a relationship that's being kept in the dark, perhaps your relationship with certain other person, place or thing is you keeping that quiet for now. You're not really sharing too much with some of the people in your life right now, because you want to recreate the right approach to do that. Overall, we're seeing that there's a development in terms of needing to be very smart and being able to hold yourself strong, even if you feel like you may not be able to do that, even if you feel that you might not be strong enough to do that. For others, I'm picking up that there is a frequency of some people that are around you that you may not trust because of certain things that you have experienced in the past. So you've learned some very hardcore lessons there. Overall, there's love and self-love that comes up as something to bring in that you may work with. I'll bring these two next to it. It says the daughter of earth and ether, which means overall the ability to have the focus on your heart as within self-love. You'll be able to step into this new direction in where you'll be able to set your purpose in alignment with what it is that is for your highest self. In other words, that is the ether, connecting with your higher self in order and through your heart, so that you're able to establish your new creative endeavor. For some of you, I'm seeing that there's relationship situations here that require a lot of thinking and readdressing of what could still come to you in terms of the focus of that particular love relationship that you wish to experience. I'm also seeing that there's a relationship that seems to also come to an end. The feeding of water, which is the focus on friendliness, focus perhaps from someone overseas, a connection perhaps with someone that could maybe be Greek, perhaps that seems to come through as well. I'm seeing that there's definitely a getting together in terms of celebrating a new particular direction or a feat that you're seeking to experience. Overall, we're seeing here the Benthams explosive fire within the center point there in your heart, between your two aspects of yourself. There is the place in which you want to start things up to make it work for you again, so that it brings out a forward movement. But you have to wait for certain things to take place before you can actually continue to do the next thing. It's almost like you're having to play chess with certain things in order for you to be able to set your choices in line. For the current events as it is right now, the twister of air, suggesting that the feminine principle overall here is definitely an energy that seems to be in a tizzy, is the word I'm hearing, about how things have happened in the relationship between two people. One is feeling very tied up and very much withdrawn from the other because of certain things that have happened. In that relationship, there is the requirement of a support, of love to come in, so that it can actually defrost that cold period that you've been going through. Perhaps for some of you in the southern hemisphere, you're in the winter period right now, and you're waiting for that storms to just pass so that you can actually go through that process. There seems to be overall a readjustment of energy overall. Looking at the state of mind in terms of the overall development, which is the father of earth here, suggesting that you're going into a place where you are setting new rules in place. You're starting up new ideas. You're owning what comes to you, what has to come to you, what always have had to come to you, but you had to deal with a lot of blocks in your path. It is a good sign to see the Fool sitting back and waiting for the energy to take place, meaning there's no more joking around. You're on a serious path right now. We're seeing that there's also a revelation or a revealing of shame and guilt, and this is done as a way to enforce a belief system of whether certain people need to sacrifice themselves for certain things because of a greater good ideology, which is part of a belief system that actually sets the guilt and shame up in the first place. So the question is this something that you would do freely because of what you believe, or is this something that is being expected from you, perhaps from what you consider to be a source or a force that is over your life? And this seems to be someone that's questioning their religious beliefs as well. Where is this going towards? This may be specific for someone particularly, so if it doesn't resonate, don't take it on. Here's the communion card, suggesting that there's also someone being visited by their spirit family, by people of their spirit nature. I'm picking up that there's an older woman that seems to be connecting with their child, and she seems to bring the message across that she is wishing to be in support of what you've done, of what you've achieved. So in that way, if you've lost your grandmother, who is a grandmother specifically, and I'm seeing the face as she used to wear beads around her wrist, so that might be something for someone, that she is very much presently supporting you in what you've been doing and what you still set in place. She comes with love. Overall outcome here, there's again the focus on the bond, which means that the things that you've been going through in terms of the relationship itself, this is most likely why you're being supported by those in the spirit world, is saying that you need to be mindful or be careful of the people that you are bonding with. It's also suggesting that you take note that even though you're in this bond or bonding the house, in some way, that you look at all of the terms and conditions as it comes through, so that it can be clearer for you in the end. Let's have a look and see what the oracle has to say on this. We see that there is relaxation suggested here, saying that you're needing to go through this process where you're actually stepping back now. You're not so much involved in one particular way of your energy anymore. You're actually changing the way you do things, which is actually more sensible for you going forward. We're seeing here the rehearsal, which suggests that there's definitely some sort of play at work here over the center point of the heart. There's some people that might actually get involved in putting certain things in place, wanting to put up a play, or perhaps there's a play at as we speak, where the audience is getting ready to observe or look at this play. This could be a playhouse. This could be a something where people are going to entertain other people. That may even be the mainstream media, if I could just say that. The next one is Day's End, which suggests that right over the spirit, the original creative force spirit, suggests that towards the end of the day, you may come to that point where you find your peace, when you bond with what is within your higher self, and that is the bridge for you to connect with the creative force, that which has always been in protection and care of you, even though you may not have always felt it. So this is, like I said, for someone very specific who is questioning their path on their spiritual journey. Overall, we're seeing here there is refreshments here, meaning the guidance that's coming to you from the afterworld, or that which is beyond, is definitely coming to you as a refreshment, as a support in your journey. Refreshments are always good to have along the way. It's always reminding you that you're being looked after and cared for. You're always being guided here. Overall outcome here, we're seeing reflections, which takes us to the point where the reflections is right over the bond card, which means that you look into things. Like I said, it's just affirming for you to know that you are on the right track. You are being urged to focus on your internal self, and in terms of that, how you would address the bond that you would be connecting with, and that you always remember to protect yourself. Final card, final oracle for us, suggests hilarity, which means it can mean many things here. Let me say that it could be something that's telling you to actually relax and just be lighthearted on the thing. In certain ways, if you're trying to be very serious and people see it as funny, or that you've lost your mind, or you're a laughing stock or whatever, remember that it's just a play. It is a play on the energy, so that people are forced to believe a certain particular process or outcome for themselves, so that they feel comforted by what they feel are deeply their inadequacies. So in that case, this is for someone very important to take note on, that even though there are these that set out to perhaps troll certain energy or troll you, you may have your own channel, which I've just picked up on that as well. If you find a lot of trolls on your channel, then understand that that is because you draw a lot of energy, a lot of light to connect with yours. I will leave this with you. I hope that this has given you some guidance and some affirmations for this week.